Brought to you by Tailored Wealth, helping business leaders live their version of a rich life.
Welcome to another edition of the Making Sense of Your Money podcast, where we cut through the financial noise and help business leaders to make smart, confident money decisions. Okay, welcome again to the Making Sense of Your Money podcast, where we cut through the financial noise and help individuals and business leaders to make smart, confident money decisions. I'm your host, Dan Pascone. I am the founder and CEO of Tailored Wealth, and each episode allows us to feature a trusted voice in some form of the financial world, someone who works directly with individuals and families to help them turn strategy into action. And today I'm excited to introduce a special guest. We've got with us Mark Kiran, who is the founding president of Broadway Law Firm. Mark and his team focus on personal injury law in the Southern California community. So Mark, thanks so much for joining Making Sense of Your Money, and we're psyched to have you today.
Dan, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Pleasure to be here.
You bet. Awesome, man. Awesome. So Mark, let's get right into it. We do have a lot to cover today, so let's jump right in. If you don't mind, give us just like a quick 90-second overview of you, your business, what you do, and how you actually got into this space.
Yeah. So like you mentioned, I'm the founding president and managing partner of the Broadway Law Firm. We are a Los Angeles-based personal injury law firm that focuses primarily on serving the Latino demographic here in California. I started my own firm right out the gate, right when I graduated law school, and was originally working with people in like family law matters and landlord-tenant matters, like whatever was coming through the door. That's what we were doing. And we were based in downtown LA. And so I really got a chance to work like on a hands-on basis, if you will, right out the gate, going to court, dealing with consumers directly. And as my business evolved, realized that there was really no firm that was built out to really serve and focus on the Latino community, which is huge in Los Angeles. So over the evolution of our firm, we slowly started getting personal injury cases via referral. We're really able to make a big impact in those cases because the monetary compensation that we can recover for folks in those cases is significant. And the best part for a lot of clients was that there was no money out of pocket. So as we got more cases in the personal injury space, I really started to build out our marketing and our intake and our operations team to really serve, all throughout California. And that's where we're at.
Very cool. Very cool. So you said a lot of good stuff there. Let me ask you this, because we get a lot of entrepreneurs on this call, and I'm impressed by your decision to go fully out on your own right out of law school. What prompted that decision, Mark?
It's something that I knew I wanted to do when I was in law school. I had interned at the courthouse when I was an undergrad, and I had worked like in the family law space, assisting what are called they're pro per, which means self-represented litigants with family law matters. So I was already like familiar with the paperwork, but more importantly, I really enjoyed working with people directly. Like there was no way that I was going to go kind of work at a firm and sit behind a desk and do paperwork. It just wasn't for me. That's not why I went to law school. So because I felt like I was confident enough to, be able to actually serve clients and acquire clients, I opened a very small office across the street from the courthouse in downtown LA and, put up a website, and slowly but surely people started calling, and we built out a small team and turned that into a 12-person 4-attorney family law practice within 3 years.
Good for you. Very cool. Very cool. Always love to hear the business journey. So you mentioned Latinos in Southern California that have had some sort of personal injury. Tell us a little bit more about like what types of cases you typically see and what do you ultimately help them to do?
Yeah. So The typical case that we would see is a, automobile accident type of case, a lot of workplace injuries, specifically with Latinos, cases where, let's say, so I would say, automobile accidents, workplace injuries, slip and falls, commercial premises, dog bite cases, pedestrian accidents. Those would be the typical scope of the cases that we see.
And like when your clients come to you, other than having dealt with something, which could be potentially fairly traumatic, what are like the biggest challenges that they face and what do they look to you for other than just helping to win a case and obviously get a settlement? Love it.
Building trust. I would say, a lot of people, but particularly Latinos, really, they don't trust attorneys. And so the first step in our customer journey really is building trust with our clients. I think something that's really lacking in like the legal industry and specifically the personal injury space is like the focus on client centricity, making sure that the customer experience is really good from the very beginning. So something that we train our intake team to do is if someone is on the phone with them and they want to speak with an attorney, that call gets automatically transferred to me or one of the attorneys in my firm, live transferred. So I would say building trust is the very first part, the most important part of the customer journey at our firm.
Very cool. Very cool. A lot of similarities in my business. I mean, building trust whenever you're dealing with finances of a family is super, super important. And oftentimes is the biggest hurdle to working effectively with someone. At least I've found that to be the case. So I love your answer there. So tell us like a little bit about how your clients find you, Mark. Is it through your own marketing? Is it referral partners? Is it, organic? Tell us a little bit about how they find you.
Yeah, so we run pretty robust digital marketing campaigns at this point. Um, you know, we do get some referrals, and I think that frankly, referrals are the absolute best way to acquire clients, right? Because it says something about the work that you've already done and the experience someone else has had. So referrals are wonderful. When referrals come in, it's great. But the majority of our clients nowadays come in through robust digital marketing campaigns that we run both on Google and Meta. I'm a firm believer that if you can't track it, you can't improve it. So I don't do the traditional like personal injury type of marketing, billboards, bus ads. I don't do any of that. I just do all digital stuff primarily. And then, obviously like referrals as they come in.
Yeah, you and I have a pretty similar marketing strategy and sort of methodology around it. So love to hear that. And with respect to referrals, you mentioned trust earlier. What I found with referrals is there's already that level of trust because someone that they know and trust knows and trusts you, right? So that's always the optimal scenario for sure. So tell us like a little bit about your industry, Mark. You mentioned some of like the traditional marketing, but tell us a little bit about maybe some of the challenges that you see in your industry and then maybe where you see the industry going in the future.
Yeah. So, well, one of the biggest challenges I would say as a business owner in our industry is um, the couple things. Number one, there are significant barriers to entry, right? Just because the life cycle of a case can be anywhere from 12 to 18 months. So Dan, before I made any money on a personal injury case, I was in for 150 grand before I
Right.
saw any money. So one of the biggest challenges I would say, right, let's say if someone wanted to start a personal injury law firm is the cash flow, right? At
Okay.
the outset. Yeah. Upfront capital. And then sometimes the inconsistent cash flow. One of the biggest challenges I see in the industry now is just the outright level of competition. I mean, there are so many personal injury attorneys, and I think it's hard for consumers to distinguish like who's good, who's not, build trust, frankly, or develop, any type of, like meaningful distinction between all these attorneys because there's so many, right?
Right.
Where do I see the firm go, or where do I see the industry going? So one of the reasons I decided to niche down was so that we could be very clear on who we were serving. I mean, I don't see this industry I don't see it going anywhere for like, I mean, that people are always going to need an attorney for these types of incidents, even with the advent of AI. I mean, AI will never be able to substitute an attorney for a PI case, at least not foreseeably for the future. But I see it going there. There's two different kind of paths here. Number one is firms starting to focus on serving a particular group or demographic, and being very kind of clear in their marketing strategies and their branding for that. And then the second, I see the advent of the personal brand really growing significantly. So as marketing and advertising, really shifts like from traditional to, let's say, like some like social media, people spend more time on social media. This all kind of goes back to trust. It's easier, and I think people are beginning to resonate more with personal brands than they are with, let's say, like a generic law firm, Smith and Smith, for example. I have seen increasingly some of these bigger players start to develop personal brands for their law firm as opposed to using, a generic traditional law firm branding that was used for so long. So I really that is something that I've really seen a significant trend towards the advent of the personal brand for growing in a law firm. And I suspect it's mostly because consumers today, right, are consuming a lot of content on social, and it's easier to resonate with like a persona than it is, a generic law firm name. So that's something that we're working on as well at our firm.
Yeah, that's well said. I see that in my space as well. It's not necessarily like the company brand that they're resonating with as much, regardless of how big or small that company may be. It's like, how can I maybe connect with that individual, or how does that individual connect with me? And then when I potentially need the services, the individuals that you might be connected with through their content or through their social presence or through their digital advertising is the one that you might think about, as opposed to, in your case, maybe the firm that you drive by and see the billboard, 5 times a day, right? And that's obviously very traditional in your market. So that begs the question then, when someone finds you, what does your process look like to kind of build that? And how do you separate yourself from all the other law firms that are out there competing for the personal injury cases?
Yeah, that's a great question. So two things. Number one, like I mentioned, most of our marketing is specifically built out for the Latino demographic, right? So we made sure, for example, that all of our intake folks are fully bilingual. Really, most of them are native Spanish speakers. Most of them are from Latin America.
Okay, great.
And that's very, very important. That's something that I think that, a lot of law firms focus on marketing, and at least in our space, marketing and intake really go hand in hand. Frankly, I would say in any like direct, D2C space, D2C, B2C business, you can have the best marketing in the world. But if the people aren't having their customer journey begins right when they call your firm, right? And so if someone's not having a good experience from the outset and your people don't build or create any type of sense of confidence from the very beginning, you could lose a sale very easily. So that's number one, right? Is making sure that all of the folks that we have were built out to serve our particular demographic in a unique way. What do I mean by that? I mean that they understand certain cultural nuances that may arise with Hispanic folks. They are able to, through our scripts, but also through their experience, kind of navigate a lot of the typical questions that we see and some of the objections that may arise in the process, right? People have a lot of questions at the very beginning, and training your intake team very well, specifically on the needs of your clientele based on our experience and what we've seen and heard, has been instrumental. And like I mentioned, I think one of our unique competitive advantages is that our intake team has also been instructed to transfer the call in to me or one of our other attorneys. If someone wants to speak to an attorney right then and there, we make sure that they're able to speak to an attorney from the outset. And that's, I think, something very few firms do or make themselves available to do. So that was something that I thought was very, very important to maintain within our firm, even as we grew. Someone called a law firm because they have a problem. And usually when someone has a problem, they want to speak to an attorney as quickly as possible in the process. Making ourselves available to a client or a potential client basically on an immediate basis helped establish trust, because now the client's already spoken to a intake representative where they've had a good experience, and now they've spoken directly to an attorney kind of immediately within the process.
Yeah, that's well said. I can see how that can provide a very unique, different, and really leveled up client experience. I can also see how it can be logistically challenging for your firm. So I'm sure you've done a lot of work to ensure that experience. That's really, really interesting. All right, Mark, we're going to shift gears a little bit. We're going to start talking about you now. If you're open to it, share with us maybe a challenge that you've faced in your life or in business, and that's maybe shaped the way that you run your organization today.
I got a great one for you, Dan. It's a great question. One of the challenges that I faced as I grew my firm, and I'm going to speak specifically towards business here, is the importance of hiring A players. I have learned the hard way that a small but solid group of A players beats a large group of B and C players. And the difference between the quality of the work that goes out and the quality of your team is dramatic. I mean, if you have a small group of A players, you can get so much more done than having a larger group of B and C players. And the morale is better, and the standards of the organization are higher, and obviously the work product that goes out is better, and the level of motivation between the team it's night and day. And I had to learn that just through trial and error, just through hiring. When you go to law school, they don't teach you how to hire. Right. They don't teach you how to delineate between A, B, and C players. They don't teach you the importance of building out an A plus team. So that, I would say, has been one of the biggest challenges and learning experience of my professional career.
Very cool. You are preaching to the choir on that one, my friend. I've led different size teams over the course of my career, and there's probably no truer statement in business than what you just said, in my opinion. You're right. When they teach whatever your business function is, when you're coming up, they usually teach you the function, right? So whether it's law or, in my case, personal finance, you learn how to do the business, but they don't necessarily teach you how to run the business. And hiring great people is, to me, like step number one. So I'm glad to hear you share that. All right, Mark. So we're gonna move on now to the lightning round. Are you ready for the lightning round?
Ready, Dan.
All right, I love it. So as folks that have tuned into this before know, I never let the guests know about this ahead of time because we want it to be really organic. So I'm just going to hit you with a question. Some of them are going to be one-word answers. Some of them will allow you to kind of expand upon a little bit. But just the biggest thing is just give us the first thing that pops in your mind.
Let's do this.
All right, sounds good. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
What's one tool or piece of technology other than your phone or your personal computer that you can't live without? Could be software, could be hardware.
My CRM.
Okay, love it, love it. Do you mind sharing what you use?
Yeah, we use a CRM called Lead Docket, which is like a law-specific CRM.
Very cool, very cool. Do you have a favorite quote or phrase about business or success?
You're going to have to come back to me on that one. Keep going. I'll get you that. That's
Sounds
a good one.
good. Sounds good. Do you have a favorite book around business or success?
Principles, Ray Dalio.
Okay, love it. Love it. Good one. Do you have a personal hack, whether it be productivity or otherwise, that you can share with the audience?
A productivity hack. Yes. And this one comes straight from Alex Hormozy. Frankly, I don't know if you know who that is, but Alex Hormozy, I learned this one from him.
I'm a big Hormozy fan.
Yeah.
Yes, big Hormozy.
Cut off all distractions. Just start first. I would say my biggest productivity hack is, and this is a little bit controversial, but like cut this morning routine nonsense and just get straight to it. Like eat the frog. Just first thing, just sit down, turn the phone off, eat the frog. That's it. Just like there's it's interesting that there's so much emphasis on all this and that, and I got to do this and I got to like meditate and like, it's all fine. It's all good stuff. But you know what? Like the days where I get like the most done is where I just set a specific time to wake up, immediately start working on whatever I wanted to get working on, and then like go from there. Right. But like just eat the frog.
Love it. Eat the frog. I've read that from Hormozy, and he's an animal with that stuff. And yeah, it's actually prompted me to do some things differently as well, because a lot of times that early morning work without distractions can be like your deepest, most thorough work that you get done, because obviously the more the day progresses, most of us, things start flying at you and there's a lot of stuff to manage. But that early morning can be, a really, really productive time frame. I love it. What's one bucket list item milestone that you've already accomplished?
Traveled all 7 continents.
Ooh, very nice. Very nice. That's impressive. I love that. I love that. We could probably do a whole nother show on that. What's one financial milestone, personally or professionally, that you're still working towards?
I mean, building out a national brand, building out a national firm. We have cases in a few states now, but building out a fully national firm.
Love it. Love it. Good luck with that. If you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Don't be scared to fail.
Love
Go
it.
for it.
Really, really good one. I tell my team all the time, I want you to fail. I want you to make mistakes. We actually had a chat about that yesterday. So I'm with you on that one for sure. All right. Well, this was great, Mark. And then if our listeners want to connect with you, collaborate with you, or just learn a little bit more about what you do, what's the best way to get connected with you?
Email me directly. That's Mark, M-A-R-K, at BroadwayLaw.com.
Very cool. Very cool. And we'll put that in the show notes as well. Well, Mark, thanks for sharing your insights today. I really enjoyed that. Really, really good stuff. And that's it for the episode. Keep your strategy sharp, keep your goals clear, and your money working as hard as you do. This has been another episode of Making Sense of Your Money, this time with Mark Kiran. Thanks for joining us, Mark.
Thanks a lot, Dan. Really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure. Take care.